Hello, welcome to the 2025 Fred Whitton Guide, presented by me, Scott, otherwise known as Cycle the Nation. We're here in probably one of the most beautiful places in the world. You've seen this place so many times on my channel. I adore it here. If you can see it past my ridiculous hair. Apologies in advance for any wind noise. I'm going to try and turn slightly side on. Microphone's here, wind's coming from over there. Yeah, this is going to be a general guide video, much in the same way that I did 2 years ago. And I've got my handy list here of stuff to remember to go through one by one. So, let's get into it, shall we? So if you're watching this, you are in. So congratulations, I will see you there. It's going to be a wonderful weekend, as it always is. The Fred Whitton is just a pinnacle event in the UK as far as I'm concerned. It's such a glorious place to be, to ride your bike in amongst scenery like this, as spectacular on a day as this. So let's get into the list, shall we? Step one is, whether you do it yourself or you get a shop to do it, make sure your bike is serviced and in good working order. That really should be obvious, but it's especially prevalent on the Fred because of descents like this, where you've got 25% descents and hairpins and stuff where you might have to stop quickly. Obviously, a smooth running bike is a fast running bike, and a clean running bike is even faster. You'll appreciate it more. So service your bike. Quick interjection here. Case in point for servicing your bike. Mine is currently in for a service. The week after I was recording the stuff up later on, my bike went in for a service at Giant Candle. Not a bolt check, it's a safety thing, obviously. Want to make sure everything's good for the Fred Whitton and my challenge that's upcoming afterwards. And I got a phone call the day after. They found a crack. Don't know if it's the frame or if it's just the paint. Hopefully it's just the paint, but there's a crack in the frame. Now, if I'm bombing down the Lake District passes on the really rattly surfaces, and as you know, I'm a confident descender, that bike snaps. That is very, very serious, potentially. You know, it's potentially lethal. So, yeah, service your bike. I did not do that just for this point, or just to make sure. I don't have the funds for that. Now, obviously, with all of this and all the tips I give, you will be in receipt of a information pack that you'll get with your entry. That comes like a week or so before the Fred. Obviously check that, but this video is here to supplement that and work alongside the guys, the steering group who organise this amazing event. The advice before the weekend, as far as I'm concerned, is for the Friday is pack. Pack early Friday, make sure you've got everything in there. That includes lots of different clothing types, and get yourself a really good night's sleep. A good night's sleep on the Friday really helps on Saturday as far as I'm concerned, and helps with the jitters. So Saturday comes round, registration day. Get yourself in, get yourself registered. Have a wander around, there's stuff for sale, there's people to talk to. There's obviously people like myself who've done it loads of times, who know a bit about. Get a cowbell for yourself or for your support crew. And generally just try and relax. Just try and relax. What a lot of people do is go out for a bit of a ride on the Saturday as well. I might do the same myself this time. Might go out and do a very easy 30 to 60 minutes, just a very easy. Sometimes I just ride to Elterwater from Ambleside and back just to get the legs spinning. Because if you've been sat in the car driving for a distance or sometimes on a plane, you want fresh legs, don't you? You don't want to be sat with, you know, laggy legs. This of course is a way to check over the bike as well, make sure everything is tickety-boo and ready to go for the big day. Do not eat too much the night before. You do not want to be stuffing your face way too much. Carb loading is not really a thing the day before as far as I'm concerned. It's a one-day event. You've got plenty of food available. You can take stuff with you. There's two refreshment stops down at Buttermere and at Calder Bridge. You've got the opportunity to eat and don't run out of food. There's loads of brilliant variation there, so do not eat too much, and that obviously goes for the morning after as well. And if you can, get yourself an early night. It's a nervous affair. You know, you're going to be excited. Getting to sleep is sometimes difficult for some, but try your best. Don't have a drink. It's not a good idea to have a drink the night before, especially with the effort you're going to have to put in. You don't want to be dehydrated, and obviously alcohol makes you dehydrated, so you best don't do that. So Sunday morning comes round, get yourself there nice and early, because obviously there's one area to park for the main part. You get directed in. Make sure you've had a normal breakfast. Do not eat too much again. Now let's talk about the ride itself. It's, as you know, it's a big deal, is the Fred. It's 112 miles, which is 180 kilometers. It's, how many feet is it exactly, Scott? It's 10,500 feet or 3,200 meters, which can vary depending on your GPS. It's not a small affair. My first piece of advice would be, leave your ego at home or in the car. There's no place for egos on the Fred. There really isn't. And what I mean by leave your ego at home is, especially for the first bit, is if you've got a group that's going slightly faster than you want to go, between say Ambleside and the first climb at Holbeck Gill up to Kirkstone, don't bother trying to keep up with them. You know, if you need to sit in the wheel, brilliant, that's fine. If they're going at a pace where you can hold that at an easy zone 1, zone 2, stay in that. And when you get to the first climb and you're going up over Kirkstone, park it. Go a gear easier than you would normally, because you've got much more to come. You don't want to be chasing in your first half an hour, your first hour. You've got a hell of a lot to come.
You know what, I'm editing this video, I'm going to interject again. The ego bit also accounts for another small part. If someone is climbing a little bit faster than you, and you're in your comfortable zone and you're in your thing, do not chase. Do not get the competitive nature in you. You're competing against the course and the day, not other people. If you compete against somebody that's going a little bit too fast up a hill, that's going to put your heart rate up a little bit too much, and you start burning those candles away, park it. A burning the candles thing is, it's a method that a lot of people use for a good reason. It's great. You've only got a certain amount of candles to burn during the day. Don't blow them all out straight away. You want to, especially up Kirkstone, especially up Matterdale, you're going to get rid of one at Honister, you're going to get rid of one at Newlands. Winlatter you can probably cope with, but the big two at the end, Hardknot and Rhinos, are where you're going to need it, so save it. Do not go chasing people just for the sake of a bit of peacocking, a bit of proud.
Of course, riding with people is good advice for the whole day. If you can ride with people, and I know it's really difficult, I've tried to do this myself. If you can ride with people, not necessarily the same people all the way around, do so. Up the steep climbs, it doesn't really matter unless it's just a morale booster. But on the flats, and there's plenty of flats, don't forget, there's a lot of flat riding or flattish riding between all of these hills. It's always best to buddy up and share the burden, as it were. Because at the moment we've got lots of headwinds and what have you. As you see, there's a chap coming up right now. How's it going? There's a lot of headwinds about, so if you can share the burden on that, all is well. And I would apply that logic to basically all of the climbs. Do not put in any huge efforts unless you have to. If you have to put an effort in to get around a really particularly steep effort, like some of the big ramps on Hardknot, you've got no choice. But where you don't have to, knock it back a gear or two and try and enjoy the experience, especially if you're not chasing a time. Now, particularly with the climbs, they're all slightly different to each other. Holbeck up to the top of Kirkstone Pass is the tallest. You'll see this on all your notes. There's a couple of ramps, but it's relatively steady. Matterdale, the next one, that is just, it's relatively steep, but it's something where you can just sit and grind it out. It's not enormous either, and you get a huge rest after that, all the way down the A66, which is amazing. If you can get in a group with the on the A66, get in a group, because you can sit at really cracking speeds all the way down to Keswick, and then again all the way, if you're really lucky, down to Seatoller before you get to Honister. Honister's your proper first evil little climb. Little? It's not that little, Scott. Yeah, it's 25%. It stays steep for quite a long time. There's a rest in the middle, and then it's steep at the end. I'm going to talk about the descent separately in a minute. The next one is Newlands. If you've seen all the footage that I've got of Newlands, you'll know how spectacular a place that is. Again, that is a long, steep affair, and it just looks beautiful. You see all the riders like a little ribbon running up the side. It's like a stream uphill of cyclists. It's beautiful, but again, try and save what you can up there. Windlatter, it's always said that it's the most alpine of climbs. It doesn't ever get particularly steep. It goes on a fair distance. You just want to keep it in the bag. Again, just there's one particular steep little corner about halfway up. Get around that and then again, sit up and back. Next one's Coldfell. Well, Fangsbrow and Coldfell together. You're not going to get the wind in your favour. All I will say for them is they're not particularly steep. They're just a bit arduous because you're already tired by then. You're 75 miles in or so by then. You might have not eaten enough. Put some food in. Have a bit of a rest. Refill the water if you can at the water station provided by Team 13. If you need a little rest there or if you need any assistance, they've got stuff there as well. Take that. But generally, you're saving all for hard knot, which, I mean, nothing can be said enough about hard knot. I'm not going to go into it. I don't like to ruin the surprise for people that haven't been up it. It's very steep and it's got a reputation for a reason. And then Rhinos is a slightly less terrible version, not long after. And then to finish it, you've got Bleetan, which is behind you over there, with this amazing view to finish. And then after you get to the bottom down here, you hook a right and you've got a 10-mile, not flat, but an easy-ish route back to under Loughrig. Now, as for the descents, yeah, they are relatively dangerous. There's no bones about that. You need to be careful. If you are a less confident descender, stick to the left-hand side of the road. The more confident riders will be on the right. And keep an ear out because they will be shouting, on your right, on your right, on your right, all the time. You know this through experience and they tell you this, well, you'll hear it immediately. Keep to the left if you're not confident. I was going to say slow, but that would be disingenuous. Some people are lunatics downhill, but there will be plenty of marshals on the course to tell you where and when you should be slowing down. For instance, down here, I'm not sure if you can see, there's a building down there. There's a steep drop down to there. There's a 90-degree turn and a building and a cattle grid. Stuff like that. This is why the marshals are out on the course, to keep you safe. On that, the roads are closed between the bottom of the end of Eskdale, before you start going up Hard Knot, down to the bottom of Bleetan here. So you do not need to worry about traffic there, but for the rest of the course, you do. It's been known to be stuck behind cars on Honister, uphill and downhill. Newland's the same. Windlatter will be relatively busy with traffic. Do not get upset if you get stuck behind a car. It's only a few seconds, it's not the end of the world. You might be chasing a time, but it is not worth your time to be getting angry with drivers. It doesn't do us as cyclists any favours and it puts us in a bad light. These things happen. And for the most part, if a car is going slowly, it's because it's behind a cyclist, because there's 2,500 of us out on the course. Okay, so food is a really good subject to cover on this. Now, I've mentioned before that there are rest stops. You know, hopefully, what you should be going through in the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 hours, whatever it takes for you to do 112 miles, not necessarily in this, but plan what you're going to eat. If you are going to take some with you, if you're going to have somebody at, say, Windlatter, which is a good place for your family or supporters to go, or anyone with a restock, shall we say, don't eat anything you haven't eaten normally, and make sure you constantly top up your water at any given opportunity, especially if it's hot like this. The more bottles of water you can get through, and if you have to stop for a pee, that's a good thing. It's much, much better, much, much safer than being dehydrated. You do not want to be relying on other people to help you with water. I know it happens, but it's just better if you're a bit prepped. Some people like to get rid of some at the bottom of the big climbs, hoping that there's somebody at the top with a refill bottle. Yes, it happens, but I will not guarantee it. Sometimes these people aren't there, especially if the weather's awful. Why is somebody going to go out there? So don't rely on others. Make sure that you've got plenty of water. A couple of grams here and there isn't going to make a huge difference up these climbs, is it? Now, being the Lake District in early May, the weather could be 22 degrees or it could be 2 degrees, and it changes massively throughout the course. Well, not just the course of the day, but through the course, because you're going around the Lake District, and it's known around here that the weather can change. You can have all 4 seasons in a day. You can have all 4 seasons in a couple of hours. keep a really close eye on the forecast, and when you're packing all your stuff to come, make sure you've got every eventuality covered, and then when you get up Sunday, you can make a judgment call in the morning. 2022, I set off with a shake dry on, and I took it off, the bottom of hard knot. I left it on way too long. I should have shed it earlier with the rest stop I had at Windlatter. 2 years ago in 2023, I had long sleeve, short sleeve and a gilet, and I took the long sleeve and the gilet off at Windlatter. But if you're not in that situation, obviously make sure you've got something that you can fit in a pocket, that you're not going to overheat, but make sure you've got enough to keep warm. Keeping warm is the main thing, because the weather changes. I mean, I've got to places where I've taken my jacket off and then ridden out towards Cold Fell, towards Loweswater, and it started raining. But then you're wet, and you're getting wet underneath your waterproofs, which isn't ideal. So try and plan ahead. Obviously on the bike it's very, very difficult to do, but if you plan it before you set off, you know what's coming. So the last couple of points I want to make is respect the route and respect the Lake District. There are a lot of other people around here. There are going to be a lot of tourists around because, well, fortunately this time, 2025, it's not a bank holiday weekend, so we shouldn't be as full as we normally are on the Fred Whitton weekend. But there will still be a lot of people around walking, driving, cyclists that aren't doing the Fred Whitton. So keep an eye out, keep an ear out. Make sure they know you're there if you're walking, especially places like under Loughrig on the way back to Rydal. That's usually covered in a lot of walkers. They park to go up places like Nabscar and Fairfield Horseshoe and Ambleside and what have you. Don't get angry again. Respect the road, respect the drivers. Do not cut in front of people. Do not jump around in traffic. That's silly. Please don't throw your gel wrappers and your food wrappers around. I know it's efficient to use, but if you can carry a full gel in your back pocket, you can carry an empty gel packet in your back pocket. This place is beautiful, and we do not keep it beautiful by covering it in litter, do we? So respect the landscape. It doesn't stay beautiful if you cover it in crap. Last point is enjoy yourself. That's the utmost thing about the Fred Whitton. Enjoy yourself. It is a beautiful, wonderful weekend full of a lot of people doing the same thing, and you will be nervous. I mean, I've driven here today, and I drive through the Lake District between Windermere and Ambleside to get here to film this. And even then, you get the little butterflies when you're driving along by Lowood, and you get the views of up here, of Windermere. It's pretty magical, and it's a superb, superb weekend, and Fred Whitton is a perfect advert for the Lake District, especially when the weather's like this. Just enjoy yourself, make some friends, you can all have a good day. Now, I spoke earlier about descents. I'm not going into detail about them again. Speaking of descents, yeah, speaking of descents, as this chap actually descends in Bleetown. Yeah, as I say, keep left. I'm not going into detail on here. Keep left if you're less confident. And if you are more confident, make sure other riders know you're around. There is another video coming. It should be the next one. I'm actually riding most of the course this weekend, if not all of it. Yes, I know. I'm going to put them all together in one single video so you can see everything. There are areas which have had some resurfacing done, some areas which haven't, and there will be areas where there's highlighted danger points, shall we say. So that's something to look out for. I'm not sure how long that's going to be yet because I've not done it, but it'd be one to just make you guys who are less confident aware of the major dangers on the course that aren't already vehicles, people, buses, sheep, gravel, mud, wind, all that. Anyway, I think that's it. I think that's it covered. If you've any more questions, put them in the comments. I will answer them as best I can, and if I can't, I'll ask somebody who knows. So thank you very much for watching. I will see you there on the weekend. I am riding it this year, as you know. I'm riding it with Russ. I'm going to have a nice time with my buddy this year. If you see me, want to have a chat, come and say hello. If you want to cycle alongside and chew the fat, brilliant. But I am about to go for a ride around this area because, well, A, I'm going to get some more footage that you've probably already seen in this, and B, Well, why wouldn't you? Look at it.